All right. All right. Hello, everybody. This is Nicole Whitlock with Ecom Sellers, and this is the Webinar Wednesdays. So this Wednesday, we are talking about prepping for Q4. Q4 is the most profitable time of the year for e-commerce sellers. So making sure that you're ready for Q4 is extremely important. Now, this webinar is like halfway through September, and typically we start preparing for Q4 halfway through August, if not starting in April for some of us. So in any case, at this point, if you're listening to the replay, you're a little bit behind the eight ball, but you can catch up. You just have to focus and make sure that you plan it out appropriately. So with that, a little bit about me. My name is Nicole Whitlock. I'm the creator of Ecom Sellers. The e-commerce space is my jam and I will say where I've spent a lot of time selling on many different platforms. I own all things Ecom Sellers related: Ecom Sellers Academy, Ecom Sellers Master, Ecom Sellers Mastermind, Ecom Q4 Summit, Ecom Seller Summit, and Ecom planners for Amazon, eBay, Etsy, Walmart, and the annual Ecom planner. So I'm in the e-commerce space a lot for a lot of different reasons. I'm also the creator of Achieve Digital Marketing with me and my business partner. I'm a single mom with two special needs teens at this point, and I am the vice president of a nonprofit. Our amazing nonprofit is hosting a big fundraiser tomorrow, so I will be working on that here shortly. But in any case, let's get into today's topic. So the topic is all about preparing for Q4. And this is just a very light smattering of many of the things that you would want to do to get prepared for Q4. And like I said, in most cases, you would start preparing. For some of us, people start getting ready for Q4 right after Q4 is over. So about January, February, they start planning for Q4 success next year. For some sellers, Q4 is the only time that they sell. I know in the autism community, which I'm a part of, I've taught some moms how to use the money that they make in Q4 to be able to fund their expenses for the entire next year, which was how I got started. I would prepare in July and August, and then start my Q4 in September, all the work, and work September, October, November, and then kind of lit up a little bit off the gas because I'd already filled up my inventory in the warehouses in December, just a little bit, but not a lot. And then kind of go back to taking care of my kids about 75% of the time, and only doing e-commerce 25% of the time. There are people that are year-round sellers, selling on Amazon, eBay, Walmart, Etsy, Shopify, you name it, the platform. There's so many different ways in which you can make money. But as I said before, Q4 is the most profitable time of the year. That's fourth quarter, October, November, December. I always start saying that Q4 really starts in September. It's all the groundwork that you've done before, just to make sure you're really ready for it. So, in prepping for Q4, one of the most vital things is building a schedule. If you're going to build a schedule, and if you're a person that's just going to jump in and start trying to make money in Q4, then what you want to do is probably start building your schedule in June and then begin to gradually execute it in July, August, and September. The reason why I say June is because that gives you a little bit of time to do a little bit of reconnaissance on different types of suppliers. It also gives you enough time that if you're going to hire some kids in the neighborhood, maybe some high schoolers that want some extra cash around Christmas or Thanksgiving, you can give them a little cash over the summer, have them work for you. And that work could be, they could go out and do sourcing if they have their own car. They could go out, they could go online and do research. If you have access to different tools to do product research or niche research, help you find private label opportunities. So they could do some of the work for you in the summertime. And then they could help you with placing some of the orders. What I would typically do is I would take all of my earnings from May and June and July and save them so that I would be able to hire sort of not full-time staff, but at least two staff as I got into Q4, starting in September, October, November. And most of the platforms are going to have a timeline in which you have to, if you're going to ship your inventory into warehouses like Amazon FBA, the Amazon warehouse, where if you ship it into the warehouse, your product shows up on Amazon with a little Prime checkbox next to it, and people can buy it, or having your inventory sent into Walmart, any of the prep centers, maybe you're working with Deliver or some other local prep center, you want to have a timeline or a schedule built around that. So there's two schedules that you're building. One is your actual work schedule. When are you actually going to commit to time in your business? If you're already organized, then this is going to be easy for you. If you're extremely organized and you already know how you're working or walking through your entire day, what am I doing first thing in the morning? What am I doing in the afternoons? What am I doing in the evenings? And when am I working my business in the morning, the afternoon, and evenings so that you can commit time to your business? For most people, I tell them that whatever, if you're working your business year round, whatever time you committed before, maybe you were working an average of 20 hours per week. During Q4, you're going to need to increase the amount of time that you spend in your business. So wherever you can find that extra time, make sure that that's block time so you can commit to that. So if you're averaging 20 hours a week, maybe you go up to 25 or 30 hours during Q4. It's only for a period of time, and you need to commit to that window. You also need to communicate that to your family. Hey, I'm working my business here. And so, daddy's not going to be available. Mommy's not going to be available. Or if you need something, here's the game plan. So being a single mom, what I used to have to do was I would put together activities that they would have to do. I would hire a person to come and hang out with my kids in the evening so that way I could work my business a little bit more. But you do need to build a schedule for yourself and for when you plan on actually really working your business. You also need to figure out within that schedule, what are the major things that are happening in those months? So for September, October, November, do you have a family get together? Are you guys getting together for Thanksgiving? Do you have a big work trip? Do you have whatever you have? You're going to have to figure out how to work your business around it. You don't want it to be a surprise to you. So figure out your work schedule. When are you going to commit each week and each day to working in your e-commerce business? And what are the actions you're going to be doing in that business? What are the things you're going to focus on? Are you going to be following up with suppliers? Are you going to be working on trying to do a private label bundle? Are you going to be trying to create listings for print on demand or for drop shipping, doing product research, all of that stuff? And then what do you need other people to do? The second part of that is any key dates, that second calendar that you're building or schedule. It has to do with key dates. If you're going to ship inventory into your fulfillment center, do they have a window? Most of the time, Amazon, if you're selling on Amazon, they will tell you when they would like for you to have your inventory in order for it to be live for Black Friday or whatever. Same thing with Walmart. So some of your platforms will tell you. And if you have a prep center or fulfillment center that you're working with, those are people that will ship your item directly to your customer on your behalf when they buy it on whatever platform. They will sometimes give you windows or deadlines as well. So you need that second calendar to kind of overlay over the first calendar. When am I working my business and what are key dates I need to remember? So build a schedule. Number 2 is to determine your game plan. What is your game plan? What is the niche you're going to focus on? If you don't have a niche, what are the products you're going to sell? Are you going to focus on just on holiday and seasonal and trendy? Or are you going to go after maybe something in the kitchen niche, or maybe you're going to go after something in pets? What's your niche or your focused area of interest going to be? And you have to be able to find suppliers in that as well. If you hadn't been doing that research, you want to get on that like yesterday. The next is what platforms you're going to focus on during Q4. For some of us, we'll pick up an extra platform that we're going to sell on. Maybe during the regular time of the year, we were only selling on 1 or maybe 2. And then during Q4, we add an extra platform. So what platforms you're going to be selling on? And as I mentioned before, what are the key dates that you need to keep in mind so that you can meet your targets? When do I need to order my inventory from my supplier? How long are they going to take to get that inventory to me? Or are they going to send it directly into the fulfillment center or the warehouse or the prep center that I want them to send it into? Is there anything that I have to do? Is there any extra stuff that I need to do to the inventory? Do I want to go ahead and check the quantity? Is this a new supplier I'm working with? So all of that stuff is extremely important. The next is to determine your method of e-commerce. So I've talked about a bunch of different methods in the middle of this conversation. What I mean by that is, am I going to do arbitrage, retail arbitrage, online arbitrage? That is going to your stores, whether they be online stores or physical stores, and I'm buying inventory off the shelves or picking up inventory off the shelves and then listing it on another platform for a higher price? Am I going to do thrifting during this window? Am I going to do print on demand? Am I going to do drop shipping? Am I going to do a little bit of both? Am I going to open up a Shopify store and do a little bit of both? Am I going to do private label? What am I going to do? So my jam is bundles. I love doing bundles. And I've been doing product bundles for a while. I don't know how many years, but it's been a while. And that is where I spend my energy. Is I do retail arbitrage and online arbitrage versions of bundles. And then I will do combinations where I do some print on demand, some physical products that I might order from a wholesale supplier. So again, I do mix and match, and it's all around putting together multiples so that I can increase my ROI. So you got to figure out your method of e-commerce, where you're going to focus it. And based on your available time, when you built your schedule, is it realistic for you to go after that? Your first year, if you're going after multiple platforms and also multiple methods of e-commerce, you definitely need some additional hands, because you're going to need additional eyeballs to check and monitor stuff. And you're going to need additional hands to be able to do work for you. So just a suggestion. You could try and do it all yourself if you're single. And it probably will work out for you because you could just commit your life to your business. But if you're not single and you got a family and you got a job and whatever, then you probably want to get some additional resources to help you. So in order to do that, you probably need to have a budget. As I said before, one of my strategies was to take the money that I earned in May, June, and July and use that to help fund whatever I needed to do for September, October, November. So all the money that I made, I would take a certain percentage of it, and I would know that those months, that money was going towards funding my Q4. That's one way to do it, so that way you don't have to take out loans. Some people take out loans, some people use credit cards. There's many different methods of, trying to acquire cash. Sometimes people work on their death piles or their returns during those months so that they can take 100% of the money that they make from there, and they put that aside. So, if you have a savings mentality, and I have a savings mentality, that may be one approach that works for you. But if you're a person that's okay with, having multiple cards, some of them have no interest up to this date, and you got to do the payback by a certain whatever. If you feel like you can meet all the terms, then get a credit card. I know a friend of mine who does that, cashback cards, and she just gets a bunch of different credit cards during this window. Other people take out loans. For some platforms, you can advance the money. It's sort of like indirectly sort of a loan before the payout. So Amazon pays you every 2 weeks. If you want to advance any of that money, you can do that. You can also use the strategy of selling stuff on multiple platforms. So maybe the platform that you focus on during Q4 is maybe Walmart or Amazon, but in the other months, maybe you focus on eBay and you add eBay into the mix, and you use Mercari and Poshmark and Google Shopping and Bonanza and Facebook Marketplace, and use those. And the extra money you make off of those platforms, you put that money aside. Again, that's for those with a savings mentality. But you do need to find the money or get the money. And that's one of the things that's going to be extremely important. And you need to know how much money you're going to need. So when you're going back to your game plan, that's also one of those things that you're trying to figure out. Where do I need to spend money? I know I need to spend money on inventory. What else do I need to spend money on? The next thing is to identify the resources that you're going to need. These types of resources could be, am I going to use some extra software during Q4 because I have extra inventory during that window and I just want to make sure I'm better managing my inventory? Or am I going to rely on the platforms? If I already had high inventory counts, maybe I'm just moving up to a different level of membership for some of the inventory management software. Maybe I'm using software to do product research for me. And so maybe I sign up for a subscription that I'm only going to keep for 3 months or for 6 months or whatever. So you need to figure out what resources you're going to need. I'm going to need maybe some software. I'm going to need maybe to sign up for a subscription for a period of time. That will go back to, again, figuring out how much money I need. What have I decided? And then, finding that money to be able to cover that expense. Or what's your strategy to cover that expense? Next is ordering shipping supplies for those people that are shipping themselves, or if you've got to ship it into your warehouse. Shipping supplies is something you're going to need. If you're never going to touch the inventory, then you don't care about that bullet. at all. But if you are going to be touching any inventory, whether it's receiving the inventory from across China, from China, and then checking it out, looking at it, making sure that it's good, and then forwarding it on to your supplier, or your fulfillment center, or sending it directly to them and just trusting that they're going to look through it. I always like to look at my inventory, especially if I'm working with a new supplier for the first time, so that I can monitor them for a couple of months. So I will tell you one tip is I don't ever start with a new supplier that I've never done business with at all in Q4. I'm going to test them out in March and April and May and June and just make sure that they're consistent before I trust them enough to just send directly into Amazon. Sending inventory directly into Amazon on your behalf or to Walmart on your behalf, that can increase the chances of you having a lot of returns, product as not as described, the wrong thing, counterfeits, fakes, whatever. And you don't want that kind of problem, especially if it's a new supplier you've never done business with. So I do have a strategy of just checking the suppliers to see how long they've been in business, what are their ratings, how many orders have they fulfilled, how much feedback do they have, that kind of stuff. And I like to stick with those that have been around for 5 years or longer and have a lot of history. If it's less than 5 years, I'm not going to do any business with anybody that's just started up 3 months ago. Then the next is hiring or training staff. Kind of already talked about that a little bit. You may actually hire a VA to help you with listings or maybe to monitor stuff or maybe run your software for you, your inventory software, your maybe product research software, and summarize the information and give it to you so you can place the orders, or maybe your VA will place the orders for you. There are a lot of different services that have that offer, VAs. I actually have 2 VAs. Both of them are in India. One works 40 hours and the other one works 35. And they help run my business. They help monitor for sales. They help create listings. They do product research. They clean up images. They do the titles and the descriptions, even though these days on a lot of the platforms, the AI will help you with the titles and things like that. So they do that work. But before that was implemented, that's what I was doing, is using VA. So what staff do I need to train? And if you're planning on shipping yourself, or you want to have shipments sent into Amazon, again, or Walmart, looking at what you've done historically, maybe historically you send in 2 boxes a week or 1 box a week, but during Q4, you're going to increase that, if not double that or triple that. And so if I was only sending in 1 box a week before January through August, then during Q4, I may actually end up sending in 2 or 3 boxes. So having high schoolers that stop by your house after school, and I recommend high schoolers because they always love a little extra cash. They're always willing to work. They always want to have an excuse to get out of the house, and they're easy to pay. Little Caesars and a 6-pack of Coca-Cola, I'm telling you, it goes a long way. $20 in the pocket, they are happy. They're ready to go run with their friends. So my point is, they can help you get a bunch of stuff done in your garage very quickly. And again, I train them in the summertime, so it makes it a lot easier. But in any case, who do I need to hire? Who do I need to train? And if I'm going to hire and train people, I don't recommend you hire and train people during Q4. You need to train them before Q4. Like, you need to train them in the summertime. If not the latest August, because if you're doing it in the middle of Q4, it's just not, you can't manage the increased volume and the increased sales and the increased inventory and try to train somebody at the same time. You will lose your mind. It will make you nuts. The next is to source now and list now. As soon as you've got your game plan on what you're going to be sourcing, what you're going to be buying, you're ordering your inventory from your suppliers. Like, hopefully you have a list of good suppliers that you have worked with, you trust, you vetted, or you know where to get your inventory, and it's a reliable source. If you don't have a reliable source, probably need to take a minute and start building a list. But if you do have a reliable source, maybe you've done this before, then that's great. Then you can just go back to, who did I do business with before? What did I order from them before? So you got to go look at your history. If you're a new seller, you don't have that history. So sometimes having product research tools can help you. Sometimes having a coach can help you. And just selling the seasonal, trendy, popular, those things can help as well. So you want to source your products as quickly as possible and list them as quickly as possible. The more listings you can get up and active, by before mid-October, like the first week in October, the better your chances of getting those early sales. People are already buying Christmas stuff. Believe it or not, they're already buying Christmas stuff. So they started buying Christmas stuff, who knows when. Most of the time it's like sometimes it's early as August and July, but they've already started buying that stuff. People take those the family pictures and the sweaters and all that other stuff. They take those pictures like in October so they can send out their cards in November for the holidays. So they're buying some of their Christmas related stuff early, just including Christmas hats, so they can take those pictures in October. So you want to have that stuff up early rather than later. And as far as before Q4, before Black Friday, definitely want to make sure your inventory is into your fulfillment center at least 3 weeks before Black Friday, if not earlier. You want to make sure those listings are live 3 weeks before Black Friday, if not earlier, at a minimum. That's the minimum, not the maximum. Can you still put stuff up Black Friday? Can you still put stuff up same day? I literally on Black Friday, I remember sitting at my brother's house and just listing and then running listings through Pink and Pink Farm and then listing the next thing and running listings through Pink and Pink Farm. And I was literally getting sales, and I was getting sales faster than I could create new listings. That was a long time ago. There's lots of tools that can help you create listings now. And again, that's back to the what resources do I need? There's a lot of listing tools that will cross list and also create listings for you. The next is to monitor results and make adjustments. You're going to have to maybe make adjustments to your game plan. Maybe you were selling some stuff that goes in the kitchen and maybe, I don't know, spatulas. I'm just making it up. And your spatulas all sold out. Okay, so having a game plan for what am I going to sell next? What's similar? What's related? Should I put this in a bundle or something like that? Where's my backup source for my inventory? All of that stuff matters. Or what's my next, major thing that I want to focus on or focus energy on? So monitor your results, see what's happening. And then the last thing for right now, and again, this is not the end all be all list, but there's a lot of stuff. Plan now for Black Friday success. No matter what, plan for Black Friday. You should be planning right now for Black Friday. You should be figuring out what you want to have, what you want to list, when you're going to get your stuff into your supplier. So again, that goes back to the first bullet, scheduling. You got 2 different schedules to create, 2 different game plans to create. So definitely put it together so that you can be more effective. And if you have a daily or a weekly checklist that you can check off, that will help you to stay on track and help keep you focused on making sure that you hit your targets and your milestones. And you're a little less stressed and a little less frantic. If you decide you're going to hire high schoolers, the thing I did want to throw in there is just make sure you find out what other things they got going on that may impact your ability to meet your targets. So if they're in band or if they're in orchestra, they're in theater, or they're in sports like football, you want to make sure that you plan accordingly. They won't be available sometimes. Maybe you've got your own kids, or maybe you work in the church and so you've got high schoolers that you can work with there. Either way, just make sure you have a game plan and make sure that their parents are aware where they're going. If you're not going to use high schoolers, maybe you've got kiddos of your own, or maybe you've got neighbors that are looking to make some extra change. Either way, have your game plan, and you'll need to put all that into your budget and what your strategy is going to be. So with that, I talked about a lot of stuff. I really did. Go back and listen to the replay, make some notes. I've been doing this for a while, since 2013 or so, maybe before. And I'm not going to say I am an expert of all things, but I've done this enough to know what works and what doesn't work. And not having a plan is the first part of this. So not having a plan on what to do, how to do it, where to source, all that other stuff, like you're just going to be flailing in the wind, and you're going to always be playing catch up. And you already have to run a little faster during Q4. So why not reduce your stress and put together a strong game plan and put together a checklist to help you stay on top of everything that you're going to have to do. So with that, I just want you to know that we do have our Q4 3-month preparedness workshop. In the workshop, we're going to be giving you 80 leads every single week, 80 leads every week. That's 320 leads a month. That's 960 leads in 12 weeks. That's a lot of leads. And in those leads, you'll be able to find, leads are like product leads, are things that you could go find now, or source now that you can sell for a higher price on another platform. The leads are only as good as if there is a sale on a specific thing and you can get it for the lowest price possible and flip it and sell it for a higher price. But the other thing that the leads can do is actually help you come up with product ideas, potential bundles that you could be creating, potential private label opportunities. So selling your own version of something. And so I like when I can walk through leads with people and just show them what the potential is. In the leads, you can find those replenishables and consumables that become what we refer to as your steady eddies. In the e-commerce space, you have ebbs and flows. And so sometimes you don't get sales and sometimes you do get sales. And so those steady eddies, things that people buy all the time, things that you don't have to worry about whether or not there's a season or whether or not there's a holiday or whatever, they just sell all the time. Those things can help stabilize your income. They're like the crust of a pizza. They're always there holding everything else together. So you can always have that baseline income, whether that baseline income is $1,000 a week or $50 a week, or whether that base income is like, $20,000 a month. They can be the thing that helps you to always make sure that you're getting money in. So I do like steady eddies. And the great thing about this is that you're going to get 80 leads every single week if you sign up for the Q4 Preparedness Workshop. You can go to ecomsellersacademy.com/Q4. In that, you also get 10 wholesale supplier leads every single week. And you're also going to be able to participate in our live weekly Q4 focus training. It's a 12-week training. And you also get 2 one-on-one coaching sessions. If you're an Ecom Sellers Academy member that's a lifetime member, then you get to participate in this absolutely free. But if you're not an Academy member, then you do need to, you're going to have to pay for it. So I would encourage you, if you don't have a game plan, we're going to help you build one even this late in the game. If you don't have a strategy or an approach, you don't have a timeline, you don't have a schedule, we're going to help you build that so that way you have the opportunity to be successful and to make the kind of money that you're hoping to make in Q4. You can make some decisions on what your e-commerce method is, and you can move forward in that direction. All right. So I hope this information is helpful. You can always connect with me by going to Ecom Sellers or Achieve Digital Marketing. You can schedule some time to talk to me. You can send me an email, Ecom Sellers Summit, Nicole@ecomsellersummit.com. You can always schedule a free coaching call by going to bit.ly/free Ecom Sellers Coaching. And you can connect with me all over Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok. I'm everywhere. Schedule some time with me. So I hope this is helpful. This is your opportunity to unmute yourself and ask whatever questions. Let me go see if we had anybody else join us. Don't know. All right. Well, if there are no questions at this time, what we're going to do is you can listen to the replay, connect with me then. I hope you have an amazing evening, and we'll say goodbye for now. Hope to see you on another episode of the Webinar Wednesdays. Bye.